Last bag, Bonson. Last bag. Which is coal. Let me quickly go to the toilet. Go to the toilet. Need to poo. We need to poo.
Hello guys, thanks for joining in the final part there of the arcade Pac-Man Lego build. This is part 14 of 14. So, this point we've only got, seem to have one big bag and one small bag in it. This is going to be the final build now, and then there'll be a cleaning video and the decals put on. But this will be the final sort of way of it's now officially will be done at the end of the day. So at first, you know, this is going to be the last part. We're now up to page 308, which is cool. Let me stand that up there because we don't need that. As you always, open the bag, take the bag out, just carefully tip it out and do what I've done last time. It dog nearly ate a part of it. I'm going to put that back in the box because I don't throw these away. I put everything back in the box, you know, and obviously there's different parts. I mean, I'd never know what would go back into. Oh, it would help. No, I'm blocking the camera. Sorry guys, let me pull that down. So yeah, it wouldn't help that if you ever tried to put these back in the bag, you wouldn't know what parts that would need to be put back in the bag, because look, if you know you had to try and remember all that lot, that going back in these small bags, you wouldn't. But what I normally do is just separate, put all the small pieces in. You know, it'd be a mix and match anyway. So I won't take these out. It's like I usually don't. This one, oh look, got a little bit of a character in this one. So it's going to be big. So as always, oh look, there's another bag. I didn't see that. As always, I put the big pieces at one end. Right. It's just that I find it's easier, because remember, you've got to try and work on these. What the hell is it? Oh, that looks like his hair, and there's his head. Oh great. At the end of the day, we've got another little bag with little bits. So yeah, it all seems to be small pieces on this, except for them other bits. They're probably going to be for the back door at the end of it. I've not put the decals on, as I said. I want to clean it because of the thing on it. But what I am thinking to do on this front, on this build, what I might actually try and do, it'll look really cool, is to get like a small diffused backlit and put a blue neon, put it on the battery, so the black, because there's a lot of holes, it will light up blue through it, and that will then shine through the front, and it'll give off like a blue neon sort of sign at the back of it, because you know, with this feel, it looks really cool. I mean, there's ways of doing something on there, so it's going to be interesting. Whatever route I go down, it'll improve it. It'll just make it just pop a little bit more at the end of the day. So first things first, glasses off because I can't see. You need, now this bag that they give you did have all these big pieces in. It's not labelled, it didn't come with a label, it's just how it was. It was even open, it wasn't even sealed up. You should have 6 of these flat ones on there. So again, put the bag over to one side, or put it in the box like I do, and you can clearly see, I mean look, you can actually see these ain't in the greatest condition, but they look like they're partly washed out. But remember, these are going on the back. So you should have 6, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you've got exactly 6 on there at the end of the day. So cool. Stack these up because you're going to need them. Right. Now it looks like, first things first, what do we need? Right. It looks like you take the 2 light of these grey ones, right, of these small type ones, and you need them. And it looks like we're working, first things first, we're working on this back. So we take one of these and put 3 on each side, 3 on each side. What's that going down? 2 bricks. So what you need to do, and I'll show you. Basically, you count down, this is how I normally do it. So you count down 2 on the sides there. So I'll count 1, 2, and then make sure these are equal to each side. 4 pins on one side, 4 pin, and then 2 down. That's how it says in the book. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm copying it like for like at the end of the day. Right, now we take the remaining 5 of these, and we start just going all over these now. So again, all the way over, because this is going to be your back door. Don't go too mad at pushing these down, because again, the way this flexes and bends, it's an absolute nightmare. So again, same thing, just match them. You don't need to put one overlap the other. Like if you put one and you've got a gap, you've done it wrong. Snug them up, and you should just have enough for all 6 of these to sit on that one piece, which we have. But again, I can see it's not the greatest, and it's bent like a banana at the end of the day. So just slightly snug until we put more pins on. But again, you do want to push them where, that's why I always use 2 hands and literally just snug them in, because I think that's a sensible move to do. So yeah, that's now that piece done. We need to then flip it over. Right, now they're working at an angle. They always tilt things at awkward angles on the thing. So what we need now, we need the remaining 4 of these, the long strips, the grey strips. Again, this is now going to give it its residual look. So first things first, make sure you even them up on both sides. So what I normally do is then eyeball it and then just double check these are lining up, and that to me, and then count the ends. I always count the ends. So it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. See, eyeball it, perfect. And then again, use both hands, snug it down. So make sure that you do the same thing, because we need to do one in the centre and then one up here to bind these in. That looks correct. It is, because I'm eyeballing it and I'm just looking at the other one. Looking down, this is the reasons why I always look down at things, so you can then see, yep, that's lining up, because then you can use both eyes and you think, yep, that's straight at the end of the day. And then you can also see if any of these have been pushed down, because you might actually see some of them bent up a little bit. Then just hold your hand on one side flat and just slightly snug it in. Don't go mad. Same thing again, flip around on the side, and again I'm eyeballing, just looking, because it don't tell you on there. The board, you're just saying, just look at it. Well, just count the holes, and I always do anyway after I've done it. And then that should be, oh, we've done these ones. Yep, have we done these ones right? No, they've got to go in one. Right, interesting. See what I mean? That's what I said. We've got to move it up one. Right, okay. Well, that's fair enough. We've got to do the same with that. We have to move these ones slightly a little bit in. But again, the exact same way. No, these are not pushed in. That's what I said. Looking down, make sure they're snug. Cool. Okay, I'll take these ones back up again and do the same thing. Just move it up one. So it's covering, you're only seeing half of a brick. That's better. Is that it? That's it. I've got it now. I'll show you. Right. So the way it's got to be, you want to see half of a circle coming out. What that ball, what it's saying on the page. So it can't go all the way flush, obviously, because it's obviously got to be a lip at the bottom for it to sit in. And it's the same with this. You don't want that snug. You just want to see half of a brick, right? But again, in the centre, and make sure that you've got even all the way from the corners to that corner. Same with that side. That side there, I've got 3.5, and I've got 3.5 there. So I've done it right. I've just got to move that one slightly, a little bit inwards. This is the reasons why. They do give you the prying tool, but I tend to find that tweezers, especially like these little work tweezers when I'm doing my soldering and things like that, looks great. So, no, that one's over slightly. No. That's it, that looks like it. That is like it, and then that's coming over half a brick, but they're not snugged. This is the reasons why I always look down. Then you can see it, there shouldn't be no gaps. You should not be seeing daylight through once you snug this in. Right, I've got one more to do after that. That's much better. Yep, that's fine. And same thing again, right at the bottom, eyeball it. That's it. Flip her up, and then just give that just a snug push, because I can see the bricks exposed. And you shouldn't be. Now I can't see nothing. So the orientation that you need for that to go, it doesn't matter, because this is going to be the back piece. It's going to be flipped. So this piece is going to be on show. That will be behind. So, but make sure that these, when you're doing this is reasons why I always tilt it and look down. You should not be seeing any exposed bricks or gaps in any of these. So just flip it round. If you know that it's all good, which this one is, it's absolutely spot on. I cannot see any gaps, can't see any bricks exposed. So yeah, but make sure that these are all parallel with each other. So this is in line with that, that's in line with that, and these are equal at the sides. This is the reasons why I take one look, think, yep, that's correct. 7.5, 7.5, 3.5, 3.5, 7.5, 7.5, 3.5, and 3.5, and then you've got a small gap in between. You know, this should not be snug up to this. So you just want to see half of a brick exposed, half of a brick, half of a brick, and half of a brick. So that's now done. Cool. Right, that didn't take too long to do. Now it's telling you to flip it over. Right, no, not flip it over. It's telling you to stay on that point. It's telling you to flip the page over. Sorry, that's my mistake. Flip the page over. Right. Now we've got to build. We'll put that to one side for a minute, because now we've got to build. It looks like we've got to build some stuff now. So first things first, we need 2 of these. This is what I'm saying about small pieces. Yeah, 2 small yellows. Oh, 1 small yellow. Sorry, that's my mistake. And then I need 1 of the 3 small 3 brick. 1 blue cube at the end of it, and we've got 1 along one of these. Okay, a step, yep, with holes in. Has that got holes in? That's got holes in. Cool. Okay, and we need 1 little red cylinder. Yes, we've got 1 little red cylinder. Cool. Okay, let's put that in there. So first things first, take the red brick, put 1 of the red cylinders until you've got a big cylinder. You've got a small, big one at the bottom and a small one at the top. That's got to be facing. Do you want the big cylinder so it goes at the bottom? Or is it? No, I've got that wrong. No, the small one goes at the bottom because it won't clip in. Cool. Okay. Take the blue one, pull it right next to it. Now, if that going. Now, why ain't that clipping in? Come on. Is that a gap in that? Again, I think that is. Well, that's come out now. Great, lovely. That's not going right up snug, but you have to move it over so that it looks like there's a gap, because it won't move up. Because I just tried it, it won't go in, and it don't. You don't put it on the. You don't put it on the side there, because it won't go. It's not going that side. It's got to go flush. But for it to go flush, you've got to move it up 1. So it sits in between that. It looks like it sits halfway again in between the two circles. So you've got a gap because it's not showing you on there. Because again, at the angle it's giving you, it's not being very helpful. Then we'll take this stair piece. So let me just show you. Small gap at the side, right? Then we take the stair piece and we'll take it from, we have to flip it to make sure it's going this way towards the red cylinder. Take, is it going this way? Yes. So flip this, so this is going flush, and then this sits over that, and then it partly sits. So let's say you want to sit it, obviously. So you've got a gap in between, and it partly sits on that, and it looks like you've got. Is that sit over it? Because again, you can't see with the picture, which is not helpful at the end of it. Which is not helping one bit. But that looks like that does. No, that's not. That's not correct. Unless, because that's the only long ones I've got. Then that's not correct then. So that has to come back off. No. So that there. It sits in the corner. Right, that makes sense. Right. So let me put that into perspective. Right. The red cylinder has to sit in a corner, because again the picture is not doing it justice. Then that bunches up and sits nice and tight, right? Because I've just looked at the next part. I was supposed to have had a gap at the back here, and I ain't got a gap. So the red cylinder sits offside and it sits right in the corner, and then the blue bunches up. Then you put that on at the end of the day, flip that up down, there it sits on, and it covers the cylinder as well. So that's how it's supposed to have. Little gap, cylinder, blue brick, and then you've got a gap underneath there, which the yellow bit sits on. Because I thought, well, the yellow bit can't go on the bottom. Now it sits like that. So there should not be no gap, right? Because again, that picture's not doing it any justice. And then we put the yellow brick behind it, and then we get this sort of effect at the end of the day. But you can clearly see is we've got a little gap there now on the corner, because the cylinder's sitting offside and it's sit nice and snugly on that black bit, which before it wasn't. So which is cool. Okay. Right, next part. That then needs to go on this board. So the orientation where this needs to sit, right, I'm laying this across this way, but they're saying they're doing it at bloody angles again. So if you turn it at an angle, it sits on this corner. So if you turn this round, it sits here. And we have to go again half of a brick on the barrel side. So you take the red, and this has to lay down, and it has to show half of a barrel. What is that? Right in the corner? Right in the corner. Okay. Which we've got half of a barrel. So I'll show you in that front. So when you look at this, this is then sitting slightly offset. So we've got half of showing one of the circles. So it's slightly a little way up at the end of the day, and you should have that should be facing. That looks like that's then facing. So it's because it tells you that that's the orientation you need to have. Again, it looks like you've got a gap in between, but looking at that, it's facing near enough the front, and you've got a small gap, which that is. So that looks right, but we won't know until we get that, do the next part, because we've got to do that again. So again, just rinse and repeat. This time on the opposite side of that little red barrel. So one side, there's only two pieces in that, and we need one more than bricks again. That yellow brick, and it looks like is there only one more in there? Can I call you mister? Why are you there? Ah, here we go. It's in this bag. This is why I don't tip all the bags out at the end of it, because you know you're going to need it. Anyway, blue brick, step, cool, and a flat, one of them. Okay, cool. So this time, we're not doing the one page, we're going on this page. So again, flip this up, put it on one side of the corner, so the barrel is literally going right tucked in one of the corners, right? Same thing, blue brick right next to it, lay it down, then flip this upside down, because if it's round that side, turn it round until that piece sits snugly on both tubes down there. So it goes on the blue and it will sit on that red barrel, right? And then the little yellow one, same thing, snug it in, and then we bring this back over and then repeat it on one side of this again. So same thing, right flush to the edge. G'day, mate. G'day, as the Aussies say, g'day. So yeah, that's that looks like that is now done on that side. And again, the picture looks like it's got an arrow pointing towards the yellow at the end of it. At the end, that's where it's got to go. Cool. Now we need right, okay. I'm a bit stumped here because it's saying that you need, oh look, there's a little grey piece jumps out there. So what I mean with these little pieces falling out, got to be so careful. Right. Yeah, well, I've already done that, so you don't need to do that again because it's already done that. It's telling you, it's telling you to take one piece out and make it all the way flush to the back at the top end. That didn't make sense. So let me show you in the book. Now before it says keep your distance. Now the book's telling you again to take one piece, that piece back off and move it right flush to the top. And I didn't put the corner pieces in as well, which is bloody annoying. Because it's got to have a circle, one circle side to it. So let me move the book. Well, that's a bit frustrating. So where these are, leave these here. This stays where it is, but this piece now has to be taken back off and gone flush to the top of it. What was the general purpose of that then? I don't. Again, not being very helpful. What was the general purpose of that? Why did they say take it, put it on, and then now they're telling you to take it off and put it flush? Why didn't they just tell you that to say to start with, and you could have just saved all the headache? Again, the book. No surprise. Anyway, it's guided in. It's all pushed in. Right, that's now done. Let's put these circle ones on because I've missed them out. I must have missed one part. Let me go back previous. Yeah, I did. I need two of the squares, and they've got to go on the top. So I did miss a piece out. Okay, which wasn't great. So I need to put two of these square ones in because I missed them out apparently. And where did these go? Right smack in the centre. Now let me count down. It's got to count out. Yeah, so one goes there, and I'll show you where I've put them. And one goes there. So basically, again, half of a brick shown in equal direction. It's saying on there. And again now, that is now, instead of that going in, it's now sitting flush, which earlier on told me to move it in. You know, why did they tell me to move it in? And they're telling me to move it and put it flush. So the book is condescending itself. It's telling you one thing, it's meaning something else. So it's unbelievable. But again, anyway, rectified, sorted. So it looks like now we need some of these bits and pieces. We need 2 of these. Yes, because it looks like you're going to have to do this twice. So, what do we need? We need 2 of these. 4, what do we need? 2 of the greys. Yeah, there's exactly 2 of the greys. 2 of them bits, and we need the small sections of the corners. Yellow of the corners. Now, I did see the corners. Hold up, I also need... Are they little arms? Yeah, they are. They're little tiny arms. Are they the black ones? They are. Are they sealed? I don't know. I think they are. They look like them. Double check to make sure there ain't no different ones. No. Let me have a look, and we need 2 of the yellows with the bricks on top, which we have. I'm just double checking to make sure them other bits ain't different. I don't think there is, because there ain't no more other bits in there that looks like that. So these must be the black ones on there, because I can't see anything else that resembles anything to do with that. So no, they are. It's these ones, and they're not hollowed, so they're just capped with a little bit going up. So the picture don't do it any justice, but again you need 2 of them. So first things first, take a grey brick. Oh no, we don't. We take an L bracket. So we can put these in any orientation we want. So as long as it's not at the back, it's obviously got to face down. But we take one of the yellow bricks, and we look like we pull it at an L bracket, so you can actually see on the front on there. So cool. And then one of them then should be facing down, so it looks like a little gun turret sticking out at the end of the day. So you can clearly see that piece sticking out. And then we put a grey brick on top of that. That then keeps it flush. So it looks like we've got to do that twice. Simple enough. One goes in. One goes one side, one goes the other. So just make sure that you don't put that in the same, ones. So all I've done is just reverted the other side to it, and then I can then put that in grey brick. Cool. So now it looks like it looks like they're going to be next to each other, and I think that's why you've got to have one left, one right, basically, and that's what he's saying. He's telling you to do one side and one the other. Now we need to take this, flip this, so these yellow bits are at the bottom, at the back end. We need to put these at the front on the flush part that we just told to move it up. And we have to lay these down. And how do we lay these down? They have to lay inside of each other. So basically, don't put these on the outside. They have to, these near enough go inside of each other. And we have to move these. So we got 2.5 on these. 2.5. So that's 2.5. And I'll do the other side. Move that. So don't count it in the centre. Always count it on the outside, basically. So I've got 1, 2.5, and I'll do the other side 1, 2.5. That then should give you a correct distance. And it does. It fits like a glove. So you should have 1.5 in the centre, which it does. And they're facing, these are facing inwards with each other. Sort of like, they're right next to each other instead of them being further apart from each other. But that's what he's saying, what you've got to do. Cool. Okay, that's done. And the next part, right, it's going to be a little bit complex on this one. So we need one along one of these. We've only got one of these. Cool. We've got one with a little ball sticking out of it. Cool. Okay. Yeah, 2 of these little round ones with a little cross in the centre. Cool. We've got a grey with a bit sticking out. Cool. Okay. And 2. Yes, you should have 2 of them. Yes, 2 little flat bracket ones. Yeah, these are weird bracket ones. Oh, they're flush. Right, I see. Right, well there ain't no more, so I assume it's them two. Right, and what else do we need? Yeah, we still need some bits here yet. So, need two of these. Right, okay. Of the flat, they're curved on these ones. So, and we still need some little bits out of this bag. Can I call you mister? Good. Right, they're not in that bag then, are they? No, clearly not. They've got to be in there. Yes, the two little half circle ones, they are in this bag. No, that's a square block. You don't need that one. Wrong one. And there's one right in the corner, as usual. And that goes in. We've got two of them in there. Cool. Okay. Just double check. I ain't seeing double vision. These bloody things. Right, so first things first. We take one of these blocks. Now this is smooth on one side. Right. And we have to put that in. We have to put that in the centre. Does that go in the centre? Again, I don't know. It's not. Yeah, no, it goes up the end. It goes up the end. Cool. Okay. We'll put one at the other end because these look like the finishing pieces. So we should have half of a block, but we've put one smooth side to go on both sides of these. So you've got one half exposed, one side sealed. Okay, we take that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now it looks like we take, what do we take? We take the long one, put that on one of these, on the, now I've got to put it on the slope side, it looks like, and it literally looks like, does that go at the back? Yeah, one goes at the back, one of these cylinders ones goes at the front of it, so then you've got this sort of shape, basically. I've worked back to front. I was supposed to work the other way. I was supposed to work that way, but it don't matter. You get the point of it. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Nearly finished now. Hi, Jill. Just looking on the Lego's website, and I think the new Lego Death Star, 9,000 pieces. Oh my God. Places is right on. It's right on your street. Oh my God. And I thought 2,600 was enough. Was it really? I honestly. So that's 9,000. My God, that is colossal. Oh, the Death Star. I'm pretty sure I looked at the Death Star prices. It was. I've seen some for 750, but they're normally from the Lego's website. It was close to £1,000. £900. Mind you, it is cool because it opens up and it's got I did see it. It was in the UK. We've got a place called Smyths. It sounds like Smiths. It's not. It's Smyths. And this is where I bought this from at the end of it. And yeah, they had the Death Star in there, and it was over £1,000 in there. It was 1,000 something, just close under £1,100. But it was massive. This thing, I wouldn't be able to get it on the pound. Yeah, it's a piece of art. Yeah, totally agree. But it was so big. This thing was like a massive round circle, and I went, God, my table wouldn't be big enough. You wouldn't be able. I'd probably have to use my computer table, what my computer's sitting on, because it opens up. But the pieces, 9,000 pieces. I'd like to think how many episodes that would take. I mean, that is colossal. Yeah, but it's still 900 quid. It's a nice piece to have. I mean, like I said, price of Lego has not gone down. It's actually gone up. But Lego's always been strong with the prices. But yeah, I think this has been a challenge because I had another problem earlier on, putting the Pac-Man sign. And the point where I'm up to, this is the last part now, the last chapter. The last episode that I had issues trying to put this on. There's some guides behind it, and it wasn't guiding properly. I've done it correctly, but what the book was saying is, put these round wheel things on and it slots in. It wouldn't. So what I do is take the wheels off, put the wheels on to the slot, and then put this on after. But the book was telling you don't do that. But it won't go in. Otherwise, you break it, and then I end up wassailing it. So the point that I'm up to at the moment, I am now doing the back. I'm now covering this in, and there's some other bits that I need to do inside. But this is the last, which I say thank God for that at the end of the day. But I do want to do some mods to this. I want to put some custom little blue LEDs inside, and it lights the back up, so it looks like the blue. I've got an old TV. So what I'm going to do is take a TV apart. I'm going to do it on live stream, and I'll show you the process. Right? I've got my friend donated the other day. He donated a brand new little Samsung TV, but unfortunately, it fell off the cupboard and smashed the screen. And all it needs is a screen, because it does work at the end of it. But the screen, I checked the price of the screen, it's the price of the TV, so it's not worth it. So what I'm going to do is, I only need a diffuser. So I will take the diffuser out of it, take it apart live on the screen, cut the diffuser out, because the diffuser on TVs, they have multiple layers, and the idea of the diffuser is it takes out the blinding light of the white LEDs, so it's not too vivid. So it gives off a slight glow, and that's what I'm going to put inside this. I'm going to put the diffuser behind it, and then put the LEDs in front of behind the diffuser, and then it will give off a nice glow. So when I look at this, then I'm going to rig it to a P9 battery, which is the P9s, the little square ones, on that. That will then just be enough lighting to light that up, but not oversaturate it. And then that will give us a nice sort of blue. I'm going to look at some little blue neon lights, which I think I've got some up there. I've got some multicolored, and I think I've got some blue ones. That will finish that off, and it'll really pop, because it will shine through the little holes, the remaining little holes, and it'll look really cool. It's worth giving it a go. The TV is not repairable. I mean, unless there's another exact same one, and it just needs a screen. Then obviously I've got a working TV again. It's a smart TV, it's actually a lovely TV, but it's got a big puncture mark right through the screen, so it will need a new screen on that front. The screen is completely caved in. But yeah, it's such a shame on that. But yeah, I love to do it myself, but it's just the price, and I can't justify. I mean, even at that was £153 in the UK. I mean, even that was a bit strong on the budget, but it would go well with all my retro stuff. I mean, I've got to admit. So I waited for that to drop down, because the price of that was still close to nearly £200, which is quite strong for a build for that. And straight away, I had 2 pieces missing, and I did not drop the pieces. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like you said, £900. What, again, what if you start to put it all that together and you start running into problems that I'm running into, and this book doesn't help. And I can imagine that's going to be 9,000 pieces is not going to be exactly user friendly, because that's the problem you'll end up having. Yeah, your Lego set is 205. Yeah, see, that's what I said, £200 on that. So for 150, I think I paid 151, 152. So it's virtually, knock 50 quid off. That ain't bad, but not great. But again, nice to have. And they didn't do no other pieces. There's plenty of Star Wars, but I didn't see no Star Trek stuff at the end of the day. I would have liked to seen like the Starship Enterprise done in Lego, because again that would have looked really cool. But I mean, obviously there's plenty of Harry Potter. I remember that they mainly, not all of these, they aim at kids. I mean, there's no way if a kid's going to sit down and try that, or try to do that Death Star, it's not going to be aimed at kids. That's going to be aimed at grown adults, because purely for that reason, it's going to be colossal. I mean, 9,000 pieces. This is 2,600. and this put up a challenge, and it really pushed it to the point where I thought, oh, can I actually finish this build? Lucky enough, I did. But you do have to think outside the box, putting these bits in. The book, it sort of guides you, I would say 80% of the way, but you do sometimes have to think in that angle don't look right, like it just did a minute ago on there, on this build, right? The book told me what on this section when I was putting all these grey bits in, told me to move it in, right, to put these corners on. Then the next minute, I got to about 2 pages after it, then it says you need a grey piece. I thought, what's it on? I ain't got no more grey pieces. The long grey one. But it didn't say you've got to take the existing one off and move it then flush. Then why did it tell me 2 pages ago to move it in? Right? Why didn't it just say to me move it flush and leave the other side moved in? This is what I'm up against with the book. And again, the angles doesn't do it justice. So doing that Death Star, my God, that's going to push your patience to its limit, literally to its limit. You can imagine nearly at that price, you've got to get that right, because there's going to be a lot of fiddly small pieces into that. And when it gets to small pieces, that's when it gets fiddly, because you've done something wrong and it don't match up and it won't sit on. And it's the same with this build. It's vital, like that cogging in the maze system. If you don't sort that out, the characters don't go round, and it'll be the same with that Death Star. That's got multiple layers, and I looked at that Death Star. You've got layers that also come out, and it's got individual layers on top of that. So 9,000 pieces, Christ, I don't know. I think that I'd hate to think how long that was going to take, but I don't think I'd like to try that, because this one is bad enough trying to do this at nearly just under 3,000 pieces on that front. But yeah, pricey. I think even if that dropped that down to £500, it would look cool, but you will need. I haven't got no room in here. I couldn't have that on display, because I've got a mental dog that will just go around throwing balls up everywhere, and as it is, he's nearly crashed into half of my stuff, at the end of it, and you really want to show that off. So again, you don't want no one saying, oh, can I have a look? And you open it up, Lego is okay, but it's not. It's still got to the point where you have to be careful of handling it. So yeah, I can understand why these are not for kids. This section, especially these, it may look cool, and it is cool, I've got to admit, but I think that might be too much for me. I mean, even for me, I'd like to see Andy try this. I really would have, and see how well we would have got on, because there's tiny individual pieces as it is. I've still got, this is the last in the bag, and there's really small pieces. They're barely, if you've got big fingers or big chunky hands, like I've got medium-sized hands, and some people got really like chipolata fingers, and you think, bloody hell. And these parts are so nano, you've only got to lose it and go in the back of the floor, and that's it. You've lost it, And so far, the last, I'd say 7 bags, I've had no pieces spare, none. So you lose it, it's game over. It would have stopped me finishing that, the previous ones, because that grey piece was missing. Lucky enough, I looked in the previous bag on the parts that was over in here with the previous bits, and there was the same one but in black. So I've had to pinch that to put on there. Otherwise, this door that I'm making up, this is going to be the door for it. This won't shut, but that's the idea. So yeah, 9,000. Oh my God. I mean, yeah, I think that might have been a bit too much on that front. But I don't know. I probably would say on that front, yeah, I'd leave that out. I mean, it would look nice. It would look really nice at the end of it. But even so, even if they drop that down to 500 quid, £500 for that, it's still a lot of money. I mean, even this, you look at it, you're thinking, you must be bloody out your brain box paying £200 for Lego. Well, Lego's always been expensive. I mean, it's always been, people always like to, right back to the early days, they've always liked Lego. If anything, it's done well It's definitely done well for its age. I mean, it's definitely evolved over time. But and this is I mean, I've noticed the black on there. It's jet black. It's not washed in it, and it's so dark. They look like they dyed these bricks really like there's a black called Ventana black. It's the blackest substance to Earth. It's near enough the same as space. It's so dark that light won't shine through it, and that's close to what space is basically. If you hit a dark pocket, it's so black you wouldn't, even if you put it right up to your face, you wouldn't see your hand. And this black, the Venta black, it's only used in laboratories. You can't buy it unfortunately, but it's on YouTube, and I found it fascinating. A couple of really top scientists painted this black page. They got the world's strongest torch, and they shined even a laser at it, and it didn't even give a reflection. It is that black. It's so dark, it's scary dark at the end of the day. And they said it feels the closest to space, and that's how dark it is. And it's really, I've got to admit, it was cool, but that's what this feels like. It's really jet black, except that it's glossy. If that was matte, that wouldn't be so bad, but it's really glossy. But it's the darkness on this is they've toned it as black as they can. But yeah, I think that Death Star might have been a bit much on my account. I don't think I would have. I don't think I could have actually said, yeah, I'll give that a go. So, I think no, I think I'll leave that alone on that, and I won't be able to put that on display more than I'd love to at the end of it. But I'm thinking if I was going to get another one, I would like to get a Star Trek, like the NEC, like that 1701, or the Voyager. I'd like to get the Voyager one because the Voyager's got a nice sort of it had a nice ship to it. I did see the USS Enterprise, but it was on eBay, and again it was just close to nearly £500. It's brand new in a box, but I've never seen one since. And someone bought it at £500. Nice though, it did. It was the Starship Enterprise, the Captain Picard one, which I would have really loved because again that was a great of my series on there. But this, yeah, I think this is my limit. So no, I don't think I could do. Don't think I could have done anything like that. Not 9,000 pieces. This put up a challenge for me as it is. So, but yeah. So what I've done on this one, right? Looking while I've been talking to you, I've put one piece goes on one side of the grey, black goes on the opposite. So you've got a ball and that, and it looks like the black has to go at the flush side, and the grey goes on the curved side, and then you've got two little holes. But it doesn't matter because you've got to cover them in, basically. So you snug these in. So that creates this, so it looks like a latching system. So a little ball and a bit on that. But yeah, would you? I mean, it's like you said. If you ever do something like that, if you ever buy a set like a Lego set, buying these Lego sets, you do really want to show it off. It does look nice, but I'm not happy the way these bits have been becoming, because it's Lego is normally rock solid when it comes to giving you the correct parts, but to have two pieces missing, I'm really gutted, to be honest. Lucky enough that the parts they did give me in the other parts on there, and they wasn't the big parts, it was always again the small parts. I've noted they give you a few extra chain link, just a little bit extra on the chain link. There's some little grey caps, some yellow bits. I know why they've done it, because people, and it is easily done. I've nearly pinned some on the floor and nearly lost it at the end of the day. So, no, I'll probably, it was right to actually say leave them in on that front. But yes, so it's now how are these going to slot in, because it's saying on here, right? Oh, I see. Right, the book. That's weird. The book's actually saying to me I've got to lay this down, stand this up and then lay this down. And what side's it got to lay at? Is that the grey laying inwards and the black's at, oh right, it is. So, yeah, I suppose it is, look, because it's like a little, again, look how dark it is, and it makes it really difficult to look. So you've got to you've got to make sure you stand this up, and on them little feet, right, I'll take them off again. This is the reasons why it's vital to stand these together. I've just pulled that one out, you know. Bloody haven't I? Don't matter, put them back in. So when you're standing these up, put the grey bit pointing towards the grey inside on that front. So you just make sure that, and it slots into the two little holes on either side of them, and then that just slots in. I think that's why, you know, when you're setting this up. But you can imagine that Death Star, right, how fiddly that's going to be. I mean, the tiny bits, and you've got to get that 100% correct, because otherwise you think that's on, that's, I don't think how many floors that's sitting on, because you've got characters to build. I mean, as it is, I've got a little character to build on this one. There's only one. But you think there's going to be probably like probably I'd say close to 150, maybe two on characters that you'll have to put together to put in the Death Star. And then you'll have multiple floors. So you've got to make sure they all sit snugly. And the only thing is, because they're going to be it's on a big scale, they probably leave about that much of a gap. So if one of these characters don't sit on that floor snugly and it moves over, you now got to think, I've got to try and use tweezers to pick the character up and sit him back down, because you will not be able to take none of that of the multiple floors up, because it will push your patience to beyond the limit. Because like you said, Lego just sits snugly. It don't mean that the characters are going to fall off, but if you bang it or you try and move it and something comes adrift, you think, you know, for crying out loud, I've got to try and put that bit back on. By then, you could be a quarter of the way up, and now you can't get to them layers, and that's the trouble. I mean, you know, a build like that, I probably won't want to try, because you probably will come into that issue quite a few times of literally thinking, oh, you know, it's going to look really nice when it's done, but you imagine when it's finally put together and it looks awesome, you've got to try and gently move it without knocking anything inside and pushed over. And thinking, you want that preferably, I would say something like that. I'd put on a nice glass table. If that was me, I wouldn't just have the Death Star. I'd probably go to like places like Hobbycraft, buy some black card, right? I'd get some white paper, some stencil, like so, poke some holes in, and if that was me, I would create like some black card and put white dots on through the paper and spray it like faintly, and it would look like stars. So you want to give off the illusion that it looks like it's floating in space, because if it's just sitting on the table, it doesn't do it any justice. So yeah, I would probably create something like that on that front, and it'd look cool, because then it'd look like it's sitting and it's floating in space somewhere, because that's what it would be. But unbelievable. 9,000 pieces. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a no-no for me, bro. Seriously. I mean, more than I'd love to. Right, that looks like this is saying that it is done for the back. Really? I'm going to roll this up. Now, this is what, you see what I mean with these grey bits? I was one grey bit short, and this wouldn't have lined up. So, it looks like, oh, I see. That's the idea of them blue feet. They look like they sit inside. I see, yeah. And does that sit in? Oh, look at that. That's nice. Yeah, yeah, I like that. That fits in quite nicely. So you've got then you can lift it out, and obviously to get access to it at the end of the day. Yeah, that fits in quite nicely, and again, snug. Actually clicks in. So yeah, really cool. So that finishes the back, but we've now got to do part of the inside. So of this bit. So obviously you've got the other bit that sits on top with all your Pac-Man. So that part is now finished. Thank God for that. I thought that was going to take a bit more to do, to be honest. But so now we got. This is the idea of this piece. We're now making. What are we making now? Right. Well, we only got one of them pieces. Is that one of them pieces? Can I call you Mister? Right. Two of these. That piece. Right. We don't need none of that. Flat disc. Oh God. Hold up. Can I tip some of these out? I think I can. Because now I've got all the big pieces out. If I'm careful, if I move that piece out, it'll make it easier for me. But even this has been a challenge, even for doing this Pac-Man. I mean, it does look really cool, I've got to admit. But I wouldn't say it's for the. I wouldn't like to say put an 8 to a 10-year-old kid to try and put this together. I mean, you know, like you said, your brain's going to struggle because some of the bits weren't marrying up, and you have to be really precise at putting these parts together. So yeah, it probably would make sense. That's probably why big items like when you start to get things like AT&Ts, you know, more complex systems, you probably are going to need, you know, an adult to actually try and work it out, because a kid's brain is obviously not going to work as well as an adult's brain. Thinking, no, you know, I had to think outside the box to try and put that Pac-Man sign up, because the book's just saying put it together, snap it in. Yeah, in theory that's what you're supposed to, but when I looked, no, it wouldn't fit, and I could just tell it weren't fitting, something weren't right. So the book's just saying just put it together and then snap it in. I took the back of the wheels off, put the wheels on first, and then snapped the plates in after, and then that fitted, and it done its job. And again, the same with the high score system, that wasn't sitting correctly, so I waited till I built the sides up, and then I put that in, and then it sort of helped to guide it in properly, and then it sat. So you can imagine what that Death Star is going to be like, and you're going to run into multiple issues on that front. But I don't know, yeah, it like you said, it will look really nice when it's done, but that's the only thing that you probably will run into, that same problem. You know, you'll move it, get a quarter way through, and things start falling off inside. Now you ain't got the room to actually get your hand in there to try and stand it up or try to rectify it, put it right. So, which will be a shame, because like you said, you'll just end up thinking, you know, I wish I never started this now. Yeah, and that's the trouble. What do we need? Do we need grey cylinders? Is that a grey cylinder? Shiny grey. Yes, 2 shiny grey cylinders. Or have we got any? Well, we got 4 there. We got 3. Hold up. Why have I got 1 grey one then? I don't get that. So, you know, it must be these ones. It's saying 2. Okay. Again, the picture don't do it any justice on the front of it. So, and 1 blue cylinder. Well, we've only got 1 blue one there anyway. So, first things first, take any one of these, poke it through. It won't go anymore because it'll just stop. I'm confused. What do we do? Poke that in? What the? How the heck do they work that out? Look how confusing that is, right? Now, on the book, it says take the cylinder, right? Put that dial in, right? That's what it says there. Next minute, it's gone to that. Part 2, right? What? Have I got to put that inside? It won't go. This is... Can you imagine what you're up against if you're trying to do something that's complex? I assume it clips in to like that. But again, the book don't do it any justice, and it's covering it up so you can't get to see it. But that's how you got. This is what I'm saying about you got to think outside the box. At the end of it, this is how fucking confusing these things are. And then we take 2 of the round cylinders. Do we clip them in? They won't clip over. No, they won't. No, they just sit. Right, they just sit over, and then we put that piece goes in, and then the big wheel with the flat disc. So it's got to be flush. It's got to go in towards that one. Cool. Okay, so it's creating this feel, and then we put that up one side. I don't know what this is supposed to represent. We'll find out. Oh, right. Okay. So again, on that one there, it looks like it has to go in the inside, like on the inside of that. So it just sits flush on that bit, and then that clips on top, snaps into place, and it does. Oh, I know. Joystick. Well, I've just fell in what that is. I thought, oh, wow. Right, we can put the joystick in. So the joystick just slots in, and it does. And it feels like, look, feels like you've got resistance on moving the joystick. Well, obviously you can't go too mad, but it feels like you can go up, down, left and right. Yeah, that's actually quite cool. That's probably why, that's why you needed the cylinder ones on there to fill it in, because these buttons don't press in. Yeah, that's actually quite cool. I like that. So, that's sorted. Right. Lovely. That's that done. And I bet that's telling you. Yeah, it is. The book tells you. The book just tells you it goes into the joystick section at the end of it. Obviously. And we've got to do the buttons on the other side. So it looked like we've got to make a button up for the others, because we're a button short on one side of the arcade. Because obviously when you press it, you can actually see it light up. So we need one of the flat white. Is that a flat white one? No, that's not. We got that wrong. We got one of these, one of those circles, and we've got the button flipped upright. Okay, cool. And what else have we got? Yeah, we need one of these dark grey snap-on cylinders and a little black cap. Cool. Okay, so we take the round button, because it's flush, right? So you can actually see it's a flush one on there. And looks like this one, it has to sit right. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to make you a button up, basically. So that has to sit in, so that we've got these raised up. This then sits on top, in between. So then it's sandwiched. So it looks, now you've made a button, complete button, and that's what that is. We push that piece. We push one end in, which it does snap in. Then we take the arcade, right? I'll pull the camera in, you can clearly see. Let me put the other light on. You can actually might be able to see it a bit better, because that black don't do it any justice. So we got to put one cap on one, and it snaps in right on the top, and it does snap in right in that corner. And then we take the remaining button and just slot it in. So now we've got 2 buttons, and it doesn't do anything, it's just for show. That one, obviously, you can see that one does. So one does, one doesn't, and so yeah, that's actually quite cool, right? That, without airs. How the bloody hell have that come out? Do you know what? It's the only thing with animals with short hairs. You know, everything gets stuck, and you think, oh my, crying out loud. You know, but again, cool. Okay, that side is done. It's telling you to put the characters on top of the arcade, basically the Bartop, which is these. Obviously, it's telling you you can slot these on top, because now you've got the slot section. So, in theory, this is now finished on that front without the decals. I haven't put the decals on yet because I want to clean it with bloody fingerprint marks and I can see it's smothered. So that is the official saying that it is now done. You've now got to do the bits inside, which it won't take too long now, because now all we've got to make up is, it looks like you've got a couple of characters and we've got to make a miniature Pac-Man, which, looking at the decals, there's the original, there's the small Pac-Man one, so we've got to make a miniature Pac-Man with a Pac-Man, which looks cool. So this is the next part, and it's the last bit. So it's telling me to take one of these, and even that, it's been a challenge. It really has been a challenge. So I would say thank God it has, because to be totally honest, it's even for me, for 2,600 and whatever the pieces there is. What is it? 2,651. That's enough. I'd say that's more than enough for what you want to do. And it ain't too big and all, so that will sit against the same as my Bartop, my Neo Geo that I've got over there, the little miniature Neo Geo I've built. That's all made out of Perspex, but again, cool. That bloody Perspex, just to buy that kit alone, was over £100. It was expensive. And what I've done, I just run I bought a Raspberry Pi. What did I buy? A Raspberry Pi 4, and then I'm running it on Linux operating system with custom built, and it runs all the emulations, so you can just pick what game you want and just play, select and play. The bar top that I've got underneath, I've got to look at that. That's going to be in the next episode, right, of the live thing, because again, it's been sitting under here for about, it's got to be sitting underneath there for about a year now, and I haven't done nothing with it. I want to finish it off on that front, so I'm not quite, for some reason I'm having configuration issues, so I've got to sort the configuration out, because the controls won't work. It'll work if I plug it in direct with a controller, but if I tried the iPads, the configuration is it's all over the place. It won't configure properly, so I don't know if it's compatible. That still might be the case, but that's probably on the next live episode, because I can't do nothing with the Sharp radio until I get the belt, put the belt back, and then send it over to the old boy and let him have a look at the end of it. So what we need on this bit is only one of these. So it looks like you've got a piece of a flat piece, and this is dark blue again, very dark. So you need one of them, two of the little bricks. These are all flush ones, they're flush on one side, and two of them. Okay, cool. So we're going to start at this end. So again, the way they always angle it, the brick is going to be at the top there, and they put one at one side, so it's like that, so you can actually see, right? So on that bit, and then we put, oh no, I've done that wrong, take that off, my mistake, I've just looked. This is why I said keep your tweezers with you. It looks like I've got to put one brick of this small smooth, and then that section, and then one at the other side. Right, makes sense. So, right, line it up. So it's got to be like that, basically. So it's like a T-piece. Right, cool. What's that next? 7 of the small pieces. Oh, God. So, of the 2 bricks, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, and it looks like we go all the way down from this side. We go a quarter of the way down. So how many bricks is that? That would make that 3 bricks on one side, halfway down, or nearly halfway down. And then the remaining all on one side. Snap that in. You should have 2 bricks and 5 up there, which we have 3, 4, 5 and 2 down here. That's correct. So just double check. You can actually see that's the route it goes down. Right, again, next bit, one of them, one of the little small blue ones. Now it looks like we've got this turquoise, and it's, I don't know what colour they call this, but these look like you need two of them. One of the turquoise blue corners. Right, the corner looks like it goes in, slots in the top piece, so that then covers that up. I like the colour, it's actually quite a nice colour. Now this is interesting. There, how the heck do I do that? Oh right, one of the bricks go to one side, right, okay. Then the corner piece, the small one, goes in that corner. So we put these bits, so we've got this sort of shape, and then this is what we have to do. Take the remaining one piece, goes in one corner, and then the remaining piece, so it's segregated, so it's like that. So it gives off this feel, hopefully. So that's what the book's saying. Cool. Yeah, now we're doing a check. Oh, I see. So it looks like a checkered pattern. So it looks like we've got to do the same thing again, but the pattern's going to be slightly different. So again, two of the little smooth cubes, or no, one smooth, one raised. Blimey. One smooth, one raised, and we need two of them corners of the turquoise. Right, okay, I've got to think now. Right, one goes on one end, the blue goes in there, one goes offset of that side, and then the other one goes that side. Okay, because I'm trying to copy the angle. So the raised bit obviously has to sit in the centre. It can't be a smooth one, and you've got to really look at that book, because again it's really difficult to see if it's raised or smoothed. So again, that section's done. Now we do another piece. Is that a raised piece or a smooth piece? Because I can't see. No, a raised piece of the dark blue. It's so dark, again you've got to really look, because again you've got a job to look at these pieces. I've got super bright lights and I've got a bloody job to see it. So again, one of them, one of the flat, again, blue ones, one flush of the blue ones, smooth ones, and two of these green arrows. Right. Now, where are these going? One looks like it goes down from this corner. Then the raised dark blue goes next to it. Then that one sits next to that one. And again, one offset from there, and then one offset from there. So again, looking at this, make sure you get it in the correct. So we've got these two in diagonal with each other, you can actually see. And then the raised blue bit, and then this one down, and then these two are offset with each other. So that's what he's saying. Now, again, we're near enough finishing on this now. So the next bit is part 6 is, again, one raised bit, dark blue, smooth bit of a dark blue, okay. Two of the blue corners. Cool. Right. So again, move the quarter section up. Raised bit in the centre. So I'm assuming it's the same thing again. Yeah, it is. And then reverse it. So it looks like it's all segregating, it's going offset. So again, these two now look like these two should be in parallel with each other. And again, we put the smooth piece. So it looks like when you're looking at it, it's all going segregated. It looks like it's going away. And we've got one more to do. Two of the smooth dark blues. Yeah. Two of the smooth, the single little cube ones, the smooth dark blue ones. Two of the green corners, which is only two left. And that front. Oh, no, that's a black. And one of the turquoise corner. So again, same thing. The long one goes down. The single one goes. We should have a grey square left, apparently. So we've got to take the green, put that in a corner. That then has to go in that corner. That goes in that corner. That goes in that corner, and that goes in that corner. Right, that looks it. You've got to look at the picture and then you'll see at the end of it. So yeah, again, now it looks like now it's sort of like we've got this exposed. It's obviously for the something else to sit on. I don't know, but we haven't got to it. But that's how it's got to go. Looking at that picture on there. Thank God. Right, right. 2 black. We're now on the page 325. We're now finishing. Thank God we are finishing. How many more pages have we got? I want to make that 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 6 or 7. We should be finished. So just 5 finishing these bits up. You wouldn't think that, would you? Still 7 pages just with these bits. Unbelievable. And that should be finishing up. And then I can give it a clean and put the bloody decals on. Yeah, that's all moved from the bottom of that. This is the only thing with this. See what I mean with these bottoms? Look, all this is like starting to come away. As soon as you start moving it, can you imagine that Death Star? You start moving that, and that all that started to come out. Jesus, you know, I can pick it up and it all fucking goes everywhere, and you think, gee, oh my God, I'd cry. I think I would. I'd sit there and cry. I think, or something like that. But yeah. So anyway, 2 of them bits. Where did I just see that? Oh, it's there. Yeah, this is like a flat cube. It's hollow, and it's got all bits either side. There's only one anyway. I've only got that one piece. And what we need to do is put 2 of them on top of each other. Okay. So they're like standoffs. Cool. So it stops. Then we need another single, a black cube this time, with a hole in the front. Yeah, got one of them. No, that's round. No, that's wrong. That's not the right one. No, here it is. That it? No. Well, it must be because I haven't got no other piece. It's got 3 pieces on one side. I think that is. And you said you need 2. Well, I've got 2. Exactly 2. So it has to be them pieces at the end of it. Yeah, it is them pieces. Because looking at the bottom, it is. But again, the picture looked like it was swiveled to the side and you can only see 2 showing. Again, the books, the way they show you it. It's really confusing. Hold up a minute. They're saying they're round. Huh? Yeah, we have got 2 round pieces. They're saying they're round at the bottom. Well, these ain't round. These ones are square. Oh, so I'll have to take the round ones. But again, they're not saying it in the book. Because again, looking at the book on there, look. Looking at the page. And I'm up to this bit, right? This bit here. The book actually says, when you don't do it any justice, and it's tiny, right? It looks like a cube. It doesn't say it's round and it's offset. But when you look at the bottom, they're saying they're round. So, again, it's the way the book's situated with these bloody things. Absolute nightmare. So, take the round ones. I'm glad this is reasons why don't just look at the white boxes, look at the bottom part as well, because you're looking, you think, hang on a minute, that don't look like the same bit as what that's saying, how many bits you're supposed to have. So we've got to take the front and spin these away, we've got to spin them towards each other, so the back's exposed. Hold up a minute, what? Oh, right, I see, yeah. So, let me show you what I've done, and they've got to be, that's not straight. I hate things when they're not straight. So it looked like you've got to put these, so you've got to spin them, the round circles are facing towards you, and then these bits are facing out, so you can clearly see. So, and we put the brick right in front of it, that binds it in, so it looks like it sits like that. So it looks like an L shape, and again, you can't tell because of the colour. It's jet black on these things. Right. Now what we need now is one of the black bricks, and we've got to put that in this front. Dog's ears. Right on the front bit of that, so that sits, that snaps in. It does snap in. And now we've got to put another brick on the front of that brick. Is that right? Yes. So we've got that piece. Now we've got to put it back on the front piece on there. So it snaps in, basically. So it looks like a step. You can clearly see it looks like a step. But we obviously got to have it this way because it's got to sit down. Obviously the bricks, these, once they got raised, that's when the brick sits on. So if it's hollow, that's when it sits onto the round peg bits. So we've done that piece. Now we need a black, I did see one of them. Where did I just, oh here, it's over here. And we need one red cylinder. Is that a red cylinder? Or is that a ball? Oh, it's a ball, right, okay. There's only one red ball there, so it's got like section of one bit and it's got like a little ball. Hold up. Let me turn it down, so that way, because otherwise it's going to spoil it. I can speak to him in a bit. Leave it on there. So yeah, let me put that on airplane mode, because I know what's going to happen. It's just going to keep on. If I put it on airplane mode, I can then that as soon as you do that, it stops all notifications and ding donging and when you're trying to interrupt. So oh, I know this is building. This is building up the arcade, the miniature arcade. So what we need to do is take this piece. Now I've got to get this round the right orientation. So which side is it? So yeah, we keep it the sides what we said, right? And then we have to lay this piece down. So then you've got a hole. Let me have a look and I can show you. So what you want to do is, yeah, can you see the hole? So basically this has got to be looking down, and this looks like the joystick because that slots in, and it now looks like that. So that's what it looks like on that piece there. So on that front. So yeah, that looks cool. Right, now the next piece is we need a yellow. That's when you're going to need the decals to put on, because that goes at the front, and that's going to be part of the it's going to be that one there, that little decal there that you need to put on there. So that's the little section on that bit, right? So that's cool. Now we've got to build this up, because obviously this is going to be the small Pac-Man build at the front. So what do we need now? We need one flat yellow to put on top. Cool. And we need the little L piece. Now where do we put that? Is that got to go? No, I've done that wrong. Let's take that off. You've got to put that on first. The black piece goes on first, then that goes on second. Does that sit towards it? Yeah, it does. So it sits towards, looking at this, you've got to have that L piece sticking towards the joystick, and then you put obviously the yellow brick on top of it. So then it brings it flush, and it does bring it, well, near enough flush. It brings it near enough flush. Right, now we need two of the little dark grey little lanterns. I call them like little lantern types, and they look like they sit right on top facing each other, and it does. Cool. There you go. So it looks like it's sitting now flush, and now it does bring it flush with that little bit of a lip. It's now brought that flush, so that's cool on that front. And we look like we've got to put another panel on. Okay, where is that? Oh, it's here. Right, I see. So that then clicks on, and then you have to put a screen. Oh, I see. So that screen, that one there, sits on there, because it looks like the Pac-Man maze. You can clearly see, you can just about see it looks like the Pac-Man maze, right? That then sits on the front. Obviously I've got a big print mark of my sausage fingers stamped on the front of it, so that needs to be cleaned, and I will have to put some gloves on so I don't get that happen again. And I can put that on. So that looks like, and then we have to put 2 black cubes on top of it, which are these ones that's got the 3 sticking out of the side. They sit in front, actually on top of it. So I'll show you. So we've got, oh, well, they're drunk. They're actually not straight, and I like things to be accurate. So again, they sit on top of it. So we've got these sticking out. So the back's nice and flush, so you can clearly see it. And then you've got the bits of the side sticking out the side of it. So these are facing front. So cool. And then we've got to put another part, one of these and a white one. Yeah, that goes over the front on the top of that brick, what we just put on, and we put a white piece on top of it. So now it looks like a little arcade, and it does. And again, it says Pac-Man, so it's going to be, there's the little Pac-Man, the little Pac-Man symbol. So that Pac-Man then sits on top of that one. So now it looks like an arcade, but we've obviously got to put sides on it. I think that's what we're doing. Yes, we have got to put sides on. So we've got some sides to do next. So you now got a little tiny miniature arcade. Christ, that's quite a lot involving just to do the sides. So you've got one small black one, one 3, one of the 5, or is that 6? One of the 6, one of the corner. We've only got one of them at the end of the day, and then we go to the yellows. So we've got flat yellow, corner. Hold up, why have I got 2 corners? There's got to be a reason. Okay. Oh, because you've got to do the other side, of course. And we need one of these corners. So yeah, one's for one side, one's for the other. Okay, that makes sense. So we take the long one of these. Oh, and that's why you've got another one of these. So yeah, that's going to be for that side. So we take one side. No, hold up a minute, because you've got this one as well. So I need one of them bricks. I thought it was. So they did give you enough. One side goes on the top part, so it's exposed. Right, so you've got that part, and it's supposed to be like that. And then take the 3, put that, does that go under? Yes, it goes under. So it keeps it all nice and tidy, right? And then what do we do next? We have to take one of the L brackets. Hold up. Yeah, one of the L brackets. So we put it like that. And we leave a little one exposed. Then we take this piece, the corner, it's got a notch cut out. That has to go right in the corner. So it sticks out like this. And then that piece then flips upside down. Hold up. No, I've done that wrong. No, because that's got a corner. No, I've done that. So does that go like that? Yeah, it goes like that. So let me do that again. No, it's still doing it wrong. I think it has to go like that, didn't it? Yes, that's it. I've done it now. Right. So on this corner with the cutout, right, with the little piece, I kept putting it this way, which it was creating too much of it. You could see part of the corner. You've got to flip that 90 degrees and put that so it's exposed so you can see a cut. So when you inverted this, you put it over and you now can't see it. It now looks like it's now beveled. So it's designed like it, so you can actually see. Cool. And then on this one, we put one at one side. So we flip one side on that, and then put the brick behind it. So now we've got one complete side on that. So that looks actually quite cool. And we can put that on one side of the arcade. You can't put it on the other side because it's back to front, obviously. So you can only go on one side. So we put that on the one side of the arcade, and then it looks like it's now complete with the arcade build on the side of it. So yeah, that's actually quite cool how they've done that. Now we need to repeat, but do it in the opposite direction for the other side, because one's for one side. So just got to make sure you do that, because otherwise it's not going to marry up. You're going to have a problem. So again, these few pieces, we take the long side. This time I'm going to do the top bit and doing the opposite side. So where before I put it on this side, I now have to do on the opposite side of it. So it all ties up. Yeah. Again, the black goes on the black side. It's all on there. Cool. And then on that one, the L shape. Put the black quarter so it is showing, so it's on this opposite side. Then take that, invert it, that flips that nice inside, and obviously got to put this piece on and then the black brick. Cool, there you go, and we've done that side. So now that fits on that side perfectly, and it does. Slots in. So this is now, obviously we've got the side work to put on, because we've got, looking at there, you've got the Pac-Man, and that's what these Pac-Man ones are. So you've got one side, one the other at the end, and they look like they go at the top correctly. They literally look like they sit here, they don't sit further down. And it'd be the same with this. There'd be a nice slot where one of them will go directly over that at the end of it. But that is finished. That's the time you put the front artwork on, the top and the side bits, and it looks like you've got a nice little. Obviously, this is where it sits at the back, because there's some bricks sticking at the back here, and that pops into. So this don't move around. So you not only sit at the bottom, but it'll snap into back as well. At the end of it, I think this is what it sits on. So this will sit probably on the back, like that, right? Because it looks like a carpet. I think that's what it was illustrating, like a carpet. And then that then snaps to the back when this sits inside there, because you can open it up. Cool. Yeah, and the picture just illustrated what I just said. I already knew that. And then you can have the character standing anywhere around here. You can have the character standing here, and it looked like he's got something, and it looks like he's walking towards the arcade. So yeah, that actually looks quite cool. So now the next bit is we're putting the character together. So we're going to need the hair, the trousers, the half body, the head, and there's a little glass cap. It's supposed to be a little glass dome. I can't see the glass dome. That's not a glass dome. It looks like a very half of a circle. You know, like one of these, but it's saying, unless that is silver. Oh, it might be that one. There you go. It's the silver one. I think that's 3Z. Is that 3Z or for? I don't know. We've got, that's a number 5. These have got number 5 written on. No, it's got to be that, because look, we've got another one there. It's got the word Lego written. It's stamped inside the brick. And that actually that says 07, and that says 07 right inside. Looking at that, it don't say the word Lego. It's D7. That actually says D7 right on the wording. I can clearly see. So it's D7. So it must be one of them. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, but to look at it, it looks like glass. But yeah, okay, yeah, it's just the way they've always done it. So again, the head sits inside the section there. Cool. And then on that one, push him in so it looks like it snaps in, so he's got his hair sticks to one side. Cool. And then his body, make sure you put the legs, the holes always go at the back of the character. Times I've put it at the front and went, no, you banana, you put it the wrong way round. So now it looks like you've got the and he's got, I've just noticed it looks like he's got a little Pac-Man shirt on. Looking at the shirt, it's actually quite detailed. They've really got into detail with Lego. That's what I love about Lego. They get, the attention to detail is fantastic. It's what I always love. Right, now it looks like he's holding that It's one of them cylinders, but I can't put that. Oh, it's a coin. No, it was one of them. It was one of the fives. Is that one of the fives? No. I don't know. It looks like he's holding something in his hand. Yeah, it is. It looks like he's holding it, but he won't hold it, physically hold it. Let's double check. Yeah, he is holding a 5. So you have to wedge it inside his hand. Aye, done it. There you go. At the end of it. So basically, on there, right, look how, this is what I'm saying about with pieces, right? You've got a raised piece there with a bit. Now look at this one. It's got a number 5 written on it, right? You can clearly see it's got a 5. And it looks identical. One's a light grey, one's a slight dark grey. And what you've got to do, this number 5, you've got to wedge it in his hand, right in the middle of his hand. So it looks like he's holding a coin. But the picture it looked like he was holding a bloody cup. And it looked like, I thought he was pouring something. But no, it's actually a number 5. Actually, you can clearly, you can't see it justice, but you can just about make it out a number 5. And you have to wedge it inside his hand. So, so it looks like he's inserting a coin in the arcade. Makes sense. Right. So I'll leave that wedged in his hand, so you can then bend his hand to what direction you want to actually put it into the machine. Cool. But again, I had to look really close to that and get right up close to find out what he was actually holding. So what we're holding now, so we look like we're holding a steering wheel. Why the heck have we got a steering wheel and a round cylinder? It looks like you've got to put that on the floor. So we've got a red cylinder we put on, right? And a steering wheel, which is I kid you not, it's like a little miniature steering wheel. We've got to put that on the floor in the opposite direction. So why? Oh, it's a seat. I get ya. We're making a seat up. Perfect. At the end of the day, I won't put the character on yet because it's going to keep coming off. Right. Now it makes sense. I thought, why have you put a bloody steering wheel on the floor? We've got to make a seat up. Right. We take the black piece, because it looks like it's a buttoned on that front. And then we take the grey piece, put the grey piece on the black piece, because there's no other pieces in here, so it can't be nothing else. And then we take a shaft, one of the dark grey shafts, plonk it all the way through, then stick it in. That makes sense now, look. So now we made like a little seat for him to sit on. Oh, how cool is that? I like that. That's, yeah, I don't know what this is yet, because we haven't got to this part yet, what that's supposed to be something. But that looks like it's a seat. But on the picture it looks flat, but that's beveled. It's the only one on there, so it must be the right one. Ah, it looks like a little candy machine. Oh, that looks cool. Makes sense, because I've got a cylinder. So we've got to make a little candy machine up. Have we got a candy thing in there? No. No, it just stays, there's no decals to put on it. But that is cool, I've got to admit. So we've got to make a little candy machine up. So what do? We take one of the little silver pins, the ones that's raised. One of that, because there's only one in, right, there's another one to do. We got to take the little shaft cylinder, yeah. There should be a round one, there is. One red one, there is, and 2 little red caps. Cool. Right. So we take one of the little red ones and put it on the back. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I like the, again, it's the little attention to detail. That's what really triggers me with Lego. I think I find it fascinating. So I put that piece right at the back of that, because it tells you to put it in the back. And then we put the grey piece on top of it. Right, okay, fair enough. So it's at the top. So we've got a piece at the back and one piece at the top. The shaft goes at the back, it goes at the front of it? Or does it go at the front or the back? It goes at the back. It has to slot in at the back. Right, makes sense. And then one of the small bowls goes at the front, that goes in. Oh, hold up, I've got that the wrong way round. Slots in, is it? No. No, that's not going all the way in. Ah. Hold up. No, that goes at the front. Right, makes sense. It goes at the front. So, the pin that goes at the back, right, don't put nothing in there, right, that's just got to have the pin going in. But then we've got a cylinder that has to sit at the front, that clips in. And then we take the remaining big cylinder, put it over, and then it slots in. What, it just sits like that? I don't like the idea of that, because it's just sitting in there. What? Seriously? Is that how it sits in? Yeah. It doesn't, that's not great. I mean, I wouldn't say... So where does that other... Why did they need that other red... Oh, hold up a minute. Hold up. I didn't see the front pin. So on the front, we've got to put a red one in front of the silver one. Right, that makes sense. Then we put that. Then we put that over. That's better. That sits more snugly now. That's much better. Oh, so you've got to make sure you put that red piece in front before you put the middle piece back in. So, you know, so that sits on it. And when you push the big piece in, it then slots. It's just enough there to give it a bite, look. So it won't come off. Cool. And then, what do? We flip this. We flip it upside down and then it sits. So it looks like a little candy machine. And we have it facing the machine. So it looks cool like that. That actually looks quite cool. I like that. So you can actually physically see is a seat and a candy machine with glass in with the glass bit. Yeah, cool. But we're not finished because we've still got to make something else up. It looks like a trash bin. It looks really cool. So one of these, I think it should be the remaining some of these bits now. One yellow brick, yeah. One white brick, yeah. One blue. One corner, yeah. One corner. One of that lid. And we've got these bits left over, which is not saying anything. So are they the remaining bits that's left over? Just in case if you've lost some of them other bits. So let's make this oh, excuse me, let's make this up. So the top brick on that can go any side, doesn't matter. And then where these two bricks are, we have to put it at the back. Right, okay. So then this sits facing towards the flush side. Right, cool. And then we take one of the bricks, put it at the bottom of the flush side of the back of it. Cool. Then take the remaining flush bit, and that then sits nice and flush, so then it gives off that feel. So you can actually see it. So now you've got like it looks like a trash bin, and then you obviously got the bit that sits on the back of it, and now it looks like a little miniature trash bin. Yeah, I like that. So it actually does look like a trash bin. That's why it makes sense to leave that navigated, sits then facing towards the arcade. So now you've got like a little bar top, and then when you're looking at the front, you've got like candy machine, seat, and a trash bin. And then you put the character, there's only on one, and you can have the character facing with the, it looks like he's putting money in on one side, so he looks like he's actually sitting on the arcade, yeah, or standing next to the arcade at the end of it. So yeah, actually that looks quite cool. I like that on that front. And again, the picture, it's exactly what the picture is stating. So if you follow the picture, if you look at the picture on that, it looks like exactly the same how I put that into place. So yeah, that is it correctly. Now we've got to open it up. Now the picture's saying it has to sit inside. So you can, there's a slot inside where this sits at the end of it. And that's it. That looks like that is going to be. So let's put these bits back in the bag. So these must be spare parts. Again, they'll give you spare bits because again, I suppose it does make sense. Small parts, you're going to lose them at the end of the day. But I've got to admit, that was a build and a half. Let me take the back off. I can take this out and you can actually see. So let me hold this in. So right where we need to sit this is where it looks like it needs to sit. And what side is it facing? The bin. So we've got two little pins allocated side by side. Oh, what did I just say about the character pinging off? Being about right. And it looks like, right. And there you go. Sits in nice and snug, right. But I've got to take it out because I've got to put the decals in. But you can leave the back open, and when you want to do show off thinking, oh, look how cool it's feet. No, don't stop there. Remember, I've got to put the decals on the high score. So lucky enough, I can get to it here. So I will have to get to it on that front. But how cool is that? That is seriously, seriously cool on that front. And I really do like that, the way that's done. But yeah, I'm thinking that is one cool retro build of the oh, and the finishing touch we've got, which I forgot to put on, which will be the Pac-Man. So it looks like the Pac-Man is chasing. So yeah, actually looking at the front, I would say, yeah, I would say that's actually quite a cool. It's been a challenge, but what a cool build at the end of the day. So yeah, I can actually put that on my Bartop, and I could say that is officially finished at the end of the day. I've got to obviously put the decals on because the decals make it look cool on that front. But yeah, I would say that's fantastic. It's been a great build, but it's been a challenge of a build because again of the headaches involved. The book's not helped on that front, but I mean, I'm just glad it's done. So now I ain't got to muck about of part 14, but you know, I'm finishing the little characters off. But yeah, I would have liked to seen, you know, I would like to see Andy try to build one like this to put it on. I mean, I don't know why he didn't, because it looks really cool in his thing. But I don't know if Andy's a retro sort of nerd. I am. I'm a big retro nerd. I love anything to do with retro at the end of it. So, you know, some people ain't really bothered, you know, like, but I've always liked things like that. And we've got the little light that lights up on that front. And the little joystick. I like the little pingy joystick because it looks, again, you know, as long as you don't go too mad, you'll break it because it's made out of Lego. But again, got to be careful how you hold this because again, this weakness here. I mean, if you really wanted to, I suppose in while you was putting that together, you could have put some like Loctite. I mean, I've got some Loctite here, like threaded Loctite. You can use it on plastic as well, right? High strength. So even if you wanted to, if you didn't want this build coming apart, picking it up, you could put some threaded Loctite on, something like that, and glue the bricks. Because you're thinking at the end of the day, well, I ain't going to take it apart, it's staying as is at the end of the day, and that would have given it its agility. But just in case you're thinking, no, I'm not, you know, just in case if a brick gets damaged, then you've got problems trying to undo all that glue. You know, it's probably for that reason. But yeah, I would say that's been a classic build on that front. But I love that little character. I just love the way, you know, details. It's all about the details on it at the end of the day. So yeah, actually you've got all the mechanical part, but I'm really chuffed with that at the end of the day. And if you want to do, because obviously you've got the back, you can just put the back on, snap it up, and snap it in, and it's all covered up. And it was stamped on it. But as I said, on the back here, what I wanted to do, because you've got a load of little holes, I want to put that diffuser. So I'd have to get, I've got some what they call builder's sealant tape. And what I do, I cut a thin strip out. I've got it in a shed down at the bottom. And what it's do is I will cut a thin strip, or better still, no, don't even have to do one better than that. At the end of the day, I have got some of this, and this will do the job well. I bought myself some really wide caption tape. Caption tape that off, right? Put some caption tape over, because it's great for electrical boards. It'd be great for this. Then cut a diffuser board. Tuck that in, because it looks like I might be able to get the gap. I might be able to slide that in. There's a little bit of resistance down there. Slide that in, cut it in 2 sections, right? So it slides it, it gets down to this point and slides that in now. And then put this piece behind it, but seal it up, because otherwise you're going to go down the seams and then the light will bleed out. And then they put the custom LEDs in, because obviously you can't cover this up because of the mechanism, because you've got this mechanism working, see? So what I do, I'll create like a box scene around that, make like a small box up, then use some caption tape to stick it to the sides, right? Take this out, put the small box in, because you only want it wide enough for this, because this ain't going anywhere at the end of the day. So, I'm thinking that would do for that point. And then once I've got that box, you can put the custom LED lights sitting at the bottom. That light will then bleed through to give it a nice diffused blue look, because that will go quite well sitting on the front with the remaining holes that shines through. So what that would do, the remaining lights will light up, just saying that you've got these lights. Or what you could do at the end of the day, you could take these out. Here's a possibility. You could take them out, leave the pellets in, right? Basically, or just leave a few in. Take some of these out, the remaining ones out, because it looks like Pac-Man's at half of the pellets, and then there'll be more light bleeding through. So it look like then it will give it a background glow, and it will look really nice. It'll finish it off. Shame this didn't light up though, because this would have been cool. I'd like to have seen this up, but it's the way they've done the plastic. I suppose do you know what? Supposing if you've got a light bright enough, because I suppose you probably could do. I don't know if it's actually, let me go to my phone. Let's see if that's true, right? If I click on light, right? So I've got a really bright light. Let's see if that lights up. Yeah, look at that. I'll turn one of these off. You'll see. Right. And you'll see what I mean. Look. So if I actually, you can actually put, yeah, it's not great though, is it? But you know what I mean? It's got, look, if I put the light at the back, look, this is what I'm saying about the light with the blue, with the diffused look on the back of it. This is what I'm saying. So even if you had that lighting up at the back of it, it would give off a nice blue light, like that blue that I got on the back of me soldering station. But yeah, I'm thinking that if I put that, if there was a light on the front of it, behind that, I suppose that would have looked actually quite nice. You would have seen the word Pac-Man light up, like on that. I suppose it could do. It's whatever route. Remember, I've got plenty of LEDs at the end of it, so which is not really a problem, but there's options there of what you can do. But I think the blue with that, I probably would take these out, leave the pellets in, and remain just the blue light background up, because it would have looked cool. And done it on like a 9-volt battery, where you could just do it on a button system, so you can end up just pushing the button at the back and it lights the back up. And if you press it, you can have one of the buttons that click on and click off. So then when you're doing your characters going round, it'll feel like your character's going round the board, and it's lit up. It's just to finish it off. There's always options on there, but again, that's probably for like future. The main thing is, I really wanted to get this done because how long this has took me to do. But yeah, I'm glad that's done. That is nice though. So on that front, and again, you've got your Pac-Man sitting on top of it. on the front. But I mean, the decals, obviously, I think the decals go to the side here, because it looks like that's the side it sits on at the end of it. But if I remember correctly, the Pac-Man, they was a quarter of the way down from the top. They was never sitting down on their bar top on that front. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it does finish it off. You have got the Pac-Man on there. But I've always remembered the Pac-Man sitting a quarter of the way up of the cabinet, because my friend's got a Pac-Man. If you've got TikTok, I'll put a link in the Discord. You'll see the arcades that I've set up for him, that he had multiple problems, and they are looking really, really good. As it is, I've got to look at the Gallagher board. The Gallagher board's got a problem, so it's not booting up properly. So yeah, but yeah, I'm grateful that that this is finished, because now I ain't got piss about. I'm going to clean all the bloody fingerprint marks, wash my hands and clean it all up and put all that on there. But yeah, it does. I would say that was page 334 on that front. But really, really cool, because now if you look on the book, it tells you, and then, these are obviously, it tells you like to pull that tag out if you're running into problems at the end of the day. These are all the bits. Look, so if you do get any bits missing, right, there's part numbers on these. So this is another good thing. You've got a part number, so if you ring Lego up, they're going to say what part number you're missing. You ring up saying I need a 635181892. Yep, okay, we'll get that sent out to you, no worries at the end of it. So don't worry if you do miss that part at the end of it. And if it's even right at the bottom, it says lego.com services. So if you need these parts, that's where you need to go. Ring them up. Services, they've got someone there. I think they're 9 to 5 for Lego. I'm not going to take half of that apart for the sake of them two items, because that grey part was right at the bottom, and I'll have to dismantle all of this just to get to that. It's not worth it. You're not going to see it at the end of the day, which you didn't, lucky enough, and that. But yeah, I would say that's been a cool build for Lego, but I wouldn't like to do another one. I wouldn't like to do another one. No, that's been enough for me. That's been a right challenge for me. I think so again, this one we got spare parts. It always seems like the small ones, for some reason, they give you extra bits, but the big parts been perfect every time. Been spot on. It's just the small bits that they give you extra bits for, so they can go back in a box. But yeah, it looked really, really cool. But I'm just grateful now, really, to be totally honest. That's now bloody finished, because I've got video editing to do. I've got to do 14 parts of video editing now to retitle it, put custom fronts on, and then I can get them posted on my YouTube channel at the end of the day. But I'm glad that's done, because I've had a lot of nights on this. Well, I think I just want to hurry up and get this finished. But I'm going to have to be careful, because again, it is still weak on that front, on these sides there. It seems to be at the ear, because even though it's all structurally safe at the top, I can't seem to get it like, if I pick it up, it weakens straight away, it starts splitting. So again, you can imagine that Death Star, I'd be frightened to pick it up. I'd literally be frightened to say, no, you'd need two people, and I'd say be extra careful, really extra careful on that front. On that. But yeah, I think that's been a fantastic build, but it will look cool in front of it, because now I've got a Pac-Man sitting against with me others, and it's all made out of Lego. Then that's it. Shame they didn't do another one, did they? Like, I would have liked to seen like a little Gallagher or something like that, or I don't know, or a little racing game, like a little what they could have done a Star Wars that would have been good, would have been cool in that, like the full cabinet size one, where you got the inside of the cabinet it all sits in. That would have looked cool. but but it ain't bad for what it is. And I thought that was going to be a lot bigger at the end of it, but no, apparently that's enough on there. But no, thanks for joining in at the end of it. So now I can actually finally end this stream and actually saying thank God for that. No more Lego, no more Lego on that front. But yeah, okay, bud. I'm gonna end the stream because I'm gonna have me sandwiches now and have a cup of tea and chill out for a bit. So that's it. I can then I'm thinking that in the next stream is gonna will be this. It will be this beast underneath here, which will be sitting that Bartop arcade. I want to have a crack at that. It's been sitting under there for nearly a year, so that's probably going to be in the next stream, and see if I can try and get that configured with the joysticks, because again you've got 1 and 2 players. I did run into a problem. I'll have to do a bit of investigation first before I do the stream. I don't want the stream just running in, just streaming it. I like to try and get things finished, and get it onto the next project. That's the general idea. But yeah, so hopefully, but if the old boy says that can't be fixed, I will go down the route of taking the transformer out of the record player and see if we can try and do something with that, like I did with the radio. I'm hoping not. At the end of the day, it'd be such a shame, because that's the trouble with this vintage stuff. It don't seem to last very long. It breaks very quickly. Modern stuff just breaks and it's not worth repairing. Vintage stuff is much more finicky because again it's vintage. It's for a reason on that front. But yes, the main thing is at least this is now done. I've got to make room on my bar top to actually try and make some room on there. I'll have to take the measurements, because obviously I've got the Pac-Man sitting on top of it, hoping that will sit. If not, take the Pac-Man off, it's not a problem. That can sit on top of my other bits on there. But if that don't, I might be able to fit that on top of my unit where all my games are. I mean, it's strong enough for it to sit on. How much does it weigh? I don't know, it's a little bit weighty, isn't it? Yeah, that might be a bit much. Yeah, I think I might be pushing my luck on that. So yeah, but no worries. All right, bud. I'm gonna go now anyway, and I'll speak to you soon. I'll probably see you on Andy's stream or something. Andy don't stream at weekends. At the end of the day, normally, if I've got a project to do, it don't matter with me. So I work from home anyway. So if I get 5 minutes, I'll just say, yeah, fancy a stream. I'll put one on there and do it. Just get it out of the way, and yeah. So yeah, on that front, I'm going to end it, and I'll catch you next time. And it looks like it's going to be the other Bartop arcade, to see if I can get some configuration done to it. So yeah, take it easy, mate, and I'll speak to you soon.